Well guys, it's finally here, an abrading video. I've been telling you that I'm going to make an abrading video for some time now on how to abrade your stone when you're making an arrowhead. And this is the video, this is the one. I'm going to have two different abraders. Both are from Flintknapping and I'm also going to have two different boppers, because the kind of bopper that you have is also important when you're trying to get the right platforms and try to abrade properly. So these are both from Flintknapping also, in case you're wondering. I'm gonna start out with the heaviest of the lead-filled copper boppers that they have on their site. And there's a set of 5 of them, I believe. This is the heaviest. And here I just got a piece of flint rivered shirt. This is raw, although it is the slick kind of candy stuff from Georgia. Got this from Jeff Head, in case you're interested. And to start out, I'm going to get right into it. I'm not going to share any super technological terms with you. I can only share with you what I've gathered through experience. So I'm not going to say I'm not going to throw fancy scientific words around. I'm just going to try to be as simple and plain as I can in telling you what I'm going to do. Some of it may seem like, and again, this is just preemptive stuff here. Some of this may seem like I'm coming off as braggish or I'm a know-it-all. No, this is just stuff that goes through my mind instinctively as I'm working a piece. And if I go too into detail or anything like that, then just forgive me. If you don't understand anything, then just rewatch it, and if you need me to explain it further, I will. But let's get into it. Okay, so we've got kind of a sheared off portion here. For sake of our point, we want it somewhere in this direction, keeping as much length as we can. We want to try to get rid of this thickness and try to cut off where my finger is there. And we can do that from here, but the angle isn't right. So we got some angles here, so I'm going to abrade. And I'm going to take my abrader. My abrader, every abrader looks different depending on how you have it. I have a new one here. I also got from Flintknapping Supplies, I already mentioned that. It's just a square. And you see mine is kind of twisted a little bit. That's just because of the nature of how I abrade the stone. So as I'm looking at this, I want to abrade up, lowering this platform down. So if I abrade up, I'm lowering this platform, getting it even further below center line so that I can really shear off a long flake. Okay. Turn it over. And it overshot a little bit, but is what it is. Now I'm not going to go over platform preparation. That's just too much to talk about in one video, but that is incredibly important when it comes to abrading. So I got my platform to the kind of the angle that I want. I go to church a lot, obviously, and I think of it as like a preacher's podium, and that's the angle, the podium, you know, where you have your notes on it, you know, that kind of angle there. Now that I have my platform, I'm gonna take my abrader, and this one doesn't really need to be changed that much. So I'm gonna start by abrading down, raising this platform up to really get a good long flake. I'm gonna start on the outside angle and then the other. I don't know how to describe that, but instead of starting right on the platform I'm hitting, I start abrading to the sides of it, and I don't abrade directly parallel, but I cock it. So on this side, this way, and I make a V. So I'm making my platform a V initially, and then I work my way up to the platform itself. Then I flip it around usually, and on that V, I'm pulling away and pulling away. So on the opposite side, I'm pulling, trying to show you how I do it here. Forgive me. I'm pulling, I guess, this way and this way. And then I flip it over and pull it. No, forgive me. I pull, sorry, I'm trying to get it right for you guys. So I'm pulling, all right, this is so difficult to do, I'm sorry. When I start out, I'm pulling back and pushing, raising this platform up a little bit and isolating it a little bit further. That way and this way, and then I flip it over and I'm pulling almost the same direction. But the way that I do it, I guess, is why I'm still doing the same hand motions, but I'm just flipping the side. Okay, now we've heavily abraded this edge, and it was able to wrap. Now we're usually left with two different platforms, and what I do with these weak ones is I abrade directly down in the middle. And if the platform is one that I want to use, then I'll very gently abrade down. And if I abrade down and there's a little lip, which there is right there, I'll abrade the other way just a little bit. Then I'll come back. And then I usually end it with a little slide. I know that's a lot. It's just how I do it. So forgive me. This is the other platform. It's not really in line with what we're looking at. This is a better one. So what I can do is hit that one, isolate this platform how it is, and really this one, abrade a little down, a little on the side, a little on the side, and just pull across. And that wrapped pretty well. Again, the best way I can do it is just to take you through my normal motions. So I'm going to speed up just a little bit. But the abrading process is twofold. Yes, it's to strengthen the edge, but it's also to finalize your platform and make sure that your platform is how you want it. Because abrading is incredibly important in getting your platform right. Incredibly important. That's why all this platform preparation stuff I'm doing right now is key. Now, I just prepared this edge to strike back. And what I'm noticing is there's a little cave, so it doesn't round over perfectly. There's a little just kind of flat area, and then it rises up. So when that happens, I take this, and instead of braiding up, lowering the platform even further, that would just cause an even bigger dip. So I braid the opposite way. Then, once my convexity is restored, I can go back, do the other way. And like I said, I always end it with kind of a sideways pull, but usually it's a pull upwards, because that pull sideways and upwards gets me the right platform that I particularly look for. Okay, on this one, I'm gonna braid beside it. I didn't abrade really heavy there because I didn't want to lower it anymore and cause a kind of a low area. but I braided pretty heavy beside it. Now we got a really fragile edge there, and I like the platform. I like the convexity. The problem is it's fragile, it's weak. And so I don't want to lose my platform. I want to have the same angle, but I want it to be strong enough to take a big old flake. So I'm going to go to the side a little bit. Barely brush down on the platform itself. Brush on the side, then I'll flip it over. Kind of do the side to side, and then I can come back on the platform itself and abrade it. And that way the platform doesn't really lose much of what it was, but it's strong. I'm not gonna break. Or not gonna not break, however you want to call it. Now again, I'm going really slow for you guys, so forgive me if I'm not explaining it too well. Just to braid it down. Now I will say, when I first started, some people said a braid up, some people say a braid down. How do you know? Well, ultimately it just comes down to your platform. Everything goes back to the platform itself. So I got a really sharp edge here, and because I know there's a dip, see the dip, it kind of goes into a valley and then rises up. If I were to abrade even further up, not only would I lose my good platform because it was jutted out, now it was jutted out like this, now it's even further straight up and down. But now there's even a bigger, see that little hump right here? And so as I try to hit it, well, I'm so used to putting the right pressure on the back. It went through the hump. But nonetheless, it still hinged out, okay? That's the point there. Now, if I was to do it right beside it, which isn't a great platform, by the way. See how it rises up on the edge? And do it down. Yes, my platform might not be as good, but, or my platform still, I don't know how to describe it. First off, I need to make sure that it can actually run. So bear with me. Or have something to run on. Okay. And again, like I said, this isn't a good platform, and it's just going to widen out. It's not going to be a long one, if I had to guess. But it ran straight, and it hinged out to where, although it was a terrible platform, I could catch it from the opposite side and catch that hinge that I got. Okay. I guess I'll just go through my normal motions here. How about I do this? I've got a bigger blade here. And let's say I switch boppers. Isolation process is going to be the same. But, that got me. But for this bopper, I like my platforms to be a little bit more straight up and down. Rather than podium height, I like it a little more straight up and down. Personally. Now, a lot of my platform preparation is just done, of course, by the bopper, but a lot is also done from the abrader. Now this is a really tight knit area to try to have to hit. So I don't want to abrade too much of my edge or it'll come off, but I want to make sure that it's strong. So I'll just kind of lightly abrade on it, and then once I get my shape right, then I can abrade a little bit more. And again, now that I've taken a release flake off and I look at my platform, it's this area I want to hit, not this one. Because this one isn't in line with everything and this one is. This one would just come out and it might wrap and it might do well, but for a long flake like we're going to take, make sure it's good. Now, probably won't do too well if we don't first address the other side. Now we can flip it over. And that flake has somewhere to run. Now keep in mind, if we didn't thin out that edge there, it would have hinged out into a big old hinge. But because we thinned it out, it has room to roll over. Marshall, quit that. And that's a good flake. Let's see. But I hope that you're starting to see that abrading is more than just strengthening the edge. It plays a critical role. See, I really want to keep that platform, so I braided beside it, almost isolating it. And there it worked. So really the difference between the big bopper and the other bopper is just the platform itself that I'm hitting, and the strength that I'm giving it, which does correlate into how heavy I need to braid with my abrader. If I'm working this nice stuff, although it's raw, I don't have to abrade as much. Still got to abrade quite a bit, and I don't have to abrade as much. But say I'm working this raw coastal right here, and I'm gonna make a good platform. I've got to abrade that really heavy just to get a good flake off, because in coastal you'll sometimes have little holes and pits. Depends on the material you're working. This is another piece of raw coastal. That one's ready for the kiln, really. Let's see. Talahetta is a good example. This has a big old hinge in it. I gotta get out. Okay, got a good platform here to run across. I've got to either hit high and yes, you really have to abrade that much on Talahetta. Or else it'll just teeter out. So let's just say I don't abrade too much on Talahetta. Let's just say I do a little bit. Just kind of a light abrading. Look at there. But if you abrade how you ought to, at least, and we had already caused some issues there, but take this platform. flakes will just fly off. So material does count. Material is important when you're working on stone. But generally speaking, we'll work this continuous platform and we'll call it. Sometimes I abrade up on a low platform and my platform isn't, or a platform may be good, but you know, the ridge isn't. So I gotta hit down on it. And so let's say I'm coming up to my next hit here that actually does have convexity. This area right here is really weak. This area is really strong. And if I hit on that edge, I guarantee it's gonna crush. But if I strengthen it a little bit, and I also pull at kind of a V angle, which straightens out the platform, by the way. So instead of it just being, I don't know how to describe it. I'll just do it and push up. I'm gonna braid beside the platform. I don't know how else to say it like that. The braid beside the platform. And that one didn't wrap, but that's okay. Sometimes I abrade the ridge itself if I feel like the ridge is slightly too high. You can do that. And by the way, I usually use the very edge when I'm in tight knit areas, like this. And usually when I'm driving a flake, I'll use the very top. But at the end of the day, abrading is going to come with experience. Nobody told me, oh, when it's this angle, oh, when it's this angle, you got to do it like I'm doing now. At the end of the day, it's going to come with you figuring out that, oh, if I didn't abrade down there, it would have been too low and would have hemmed it in. It just comes with time, experience, and again, I'm not boasting, I'm just saying it takes some time to figure it out. There's some nappers that have become really good in a span of, 2-3 years. Other times it takes decades. But if you're consistent with it, you'll figure out that some things work, some things don't. This is another example of the two-prong platform. One that shot over the middle and two that you need to abrade to give it strength. That actually ran over the back edge. And this one back here. And sometimes you're left with another good platform in the middle because you went side to side. So it all works out. Nonetheless, I'm going to end it there. I don't know if this was helpful. I certainly hope it was. I didn't use a smaller one, but say I'm working like a really good material. Just some heated stuff. You can use your abrader to shape your point and not do like I did. Sometimes you can use it as a bopper itself, although I wouldn't do that. You could though, to get your shape right. But generally I use this one when I'm working with notches, or if I've got a point like this and I'm trying to finish out by lightly abrading the edge of a paleo piece, or if I don't want to remove a ton of bulk on the edge of a point, say like this one here, and I don't want to just remove a ton of mass by taking a big thick bopper, just but you know, just lightly just kind of glide this on there. That's where I use this, and then notches. But I have been making some points here or there. Little Hernando, Hillsboro. This is a Hernando, and a little Hardin. But I'm gonna end it there. If you have more questions, let me know. I know this wasn't a thorough scientific kind of deal. It was more practical, but I hope that it helped. So I hope y'all have a great day. I'll chat with you on the next one.